Just seen on Facebook, Andy Demi is now live.
Fantastic.
How you doing, guys? Gaven, the host, with the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Andy Demi, for our live show, Pipped Like a Pro, especially for the Crypto and FX Traders Club. So if you're a member and you're watching live, then you've got the notification. Just click on the StreamYard link. Do us a favor, please. I only want to say it once this week. Link StreamYard, sign in so we can see your name and your face, and then we feel like we're speaking to someone. So we got Slav live on YouTube who's tuning in. So we're broadcasting live on YouTube and on Facebook. How are you, my friend?
I am doing well, mate. And yourself?
Yeah, it's been an interesting weekend all round. We just had a little catch up about the football a couple of minutes before we came on air.
Yeah. Crazy games, crazy results.
My team won. Your team
I'm happy,
drew.
mate. We're top of the league. I'm happy.
Your team drew. Dan Tyler's team lost. You know, it is what it is.
But we're the only team unbeaten in the league as well.
Hey, look, one thing that I'm sure there's people that love football, and it's fine. More importantly, very impressive rap rendition that you typed out in the group. That was for you.
That was for you to sing, mate. You can't be a writer and a singer, man. It doesn't work.
Mate, I wish I could be one or the other. I'm not either. Like, I've tried my best. So it's your art, it's your work. One day we're going to have to get you to do it. We said if 100 people tune in live to the Pip Show, we get a lot for cryptos, not as much for FX at the moment. So it'd be interesting to see if we get 100, then he'll hit it.
Maybe when Bitcoin hits 100K. That could be our celebration song.
Talking all things cryptos tomorrow. Today is FX Boo Boo. So we got Con in the house. Good to see you. That is an impressive fish. Do you have any idea what fish that is? I keep meaning to ask every time I see it, and then I forget. And I've remembered this week. So tell us what fish that is, Con, and what beach that is as well, please, mate, because that is an impressive catch. Monica is in the house as well. Hello to you. Hello all. So look, your argument would have some weight with it, maybe, if you could work out how to use the StreamYard link. Come on. It's there. Stop being lazy, whoever you are. But you have a fair point. Come on, Andy.
That could be the queen. That could be the queen that you're talking to like that. Who was that famous? Wasn't James Bond that we had on here? We had somebody on here that left us.
Al Pacino.
Was it Al Pacino?
Al Pacino.
Yeah. After we called him Al Pacino, he never came back. That could be the queen, mate, and you're talking to the queen like that.
What? Like what? I'm just saying it as it is, mate. Every week, multiple times, I'm saying.
But if that was the queen, would you address the queen that way? Come on.
If she's in our group, no one's higher than anyone else. Especially, I don't want to get us banned off Facebook, but with all that's going on in the world, why? Yeah. So what if she's the queen? That's my opinion, and I'm willing to go into that a bit deeper, but not during this show because we want to keep it relative. Yanis, can you see me now? Yes, we can, my friend. Yes, we can. So Con saying Molloway, also known as Jewfish and Butterfish. I have no idea what that is, but
never heard of it.
Mate, would you have said that to the Queen if she just said that?
What?
That's strange.
Yes, I would actually.
Good man. That's what we like. So look, I want to take a bit of a different slant on today's show. Excuse me. I'm just eating some raw honey off the spoon and it's got a bit stuck in my throat. So want to take a bit of a different tact with this week's show. So yes, we're going to be breaking down all the big FX news for the week. Yes, we're going to find you an FX trade to trade within 15 minutes That's our little shtick nowadays, using all the data that Andy finds live today. We'll go and break down the charts and give you a pro trading setup of the week. Yes, that's coming. Just want to do something a little bit different this week and talk to you about money. What do you feel about money? How has your thoughts, feelings, emotions, just your general attitude towards money changed over the years? Because you're someone that's driven their dream car, you travel first class around the world, you have your dream house, you married your soulmate, and you come from humble beginnings. You're not like a silver spooner. How has your relationship with the energy of money changed? And that's a big question, I know. Let's just see where we go with it and see what happens with this conversation.
No, it's a good conversation, because I think a big part of why maybe people struggle to make money in whatever they pursue, whether it's trading or another way of doing it. I think your relationship with money does play a big part. And I think, I guess like I used to have sort of limiting beliefs about one, like, what you needed to do to earn money versus what I know now. There's my screen's shutting down. They're done for the day. But look, to give you an idea, like, I mean, when I first started out, like, trying to get a job and going into the city, just trying to get any kind of decent financial job in an investment bank, I used to work, so many hours just to get a paycheck. And, I just felt like that's what you needed to do. Like, and then you move up the ladder, and then you kind of have to keep doing all those hours to earn money. But kind of the more I read, the more I studied, the more I experienced, and also getting the right mentorship and meeting the right and being surrounded by the right people, I realized actually, if that's how you earn money, then how can we have like billionaires? Because it's impossible to have that many hours, right? So how can people like, Jeff Bezos, like, make billions through Amazon? Like, well, he's not sitting there, worrying about the fulfillment and worrying about, he's strategizing. And so I always I learned along life's journey, like, how to use leverage, I guess. And I really believe in that. I think, and that's why trading as a vehicle is really, really powerful. And if you use it to grow your money, then it's about kind of then using that money wisely, so that it's working for you rather than you having to continuously work for a salary. So I think definitely my belief system's changed, because you can earn a lot of money working all day long. Like, you could trade. Now, if I do trade a few hours, it's because I'm choosing to, because I enjoy it. Like, it's fun to me, but I don't need to do it. Like, often, as you know now, with my new, having 3 kids, I'm super busy. I've got a million things going on. I generally don't have the time, with limited sleep, to sit in front of my screens, for 10 hours a day. If I was 22 with no responsibilities, I would enjoy doing it, but it's not a smart way of doing it. Like, you can earn more money by doing less hours, because it allows you that time to kind of have that downtime, to think, to enjoy life, and then you bring that new energy into the next day's trading, and that kind of spirals. Whereas if you're kind of like continuously just at it every day, 10, 12 hours, eventually you burn out and you can't maintain it. So I definitely feel that my internal beliefs have changed, and it often, like, I do less and make more. That's my reality now. I used to do more and make less.
So how does that feel? Like, when you say that your mentality around money's changed, like, how does it feel? Like, because so many, I guess an angle that that I'm coming at is that so many people think that money is going to be the be all and end all. And we're in a world that's been built on this illusion that, yeah, you got, you know, I lived in London for many years before breaking free, if you will. And it was just like, it's incessant. I've just got to keep going. I've got to keep working more hours. I've got to keep going higher up the ladder. I've got to get more money. I've got to get more things. Like, how do you feel around that sort of thing and the whole thing, having been and having so much material things that you want and more than what you could possibly need? Like, how would you speak to yourself 10, 15 years ago? Like, is there any kind of lessons that you've learned around that side of money that you could share and drop any knowledge bombs around? Because so many people are so hung up on money that they're missing out on a lot of other things, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think, you know, the saying of, like, you know, money, some people will say money doesn't make you happy, and those kind of things. Look, I think if you're happy and you have more money, it's better than being happy and have less money. But, like, you know, and that's the thing. It's like being, like, most people will be really, the thing that most people need to kind of take care of is what they do every day. And so, like, if you've got a roof over your head, even if it's an apartment and it's not your dream house, and you've got a car that takes you from A to B, and nowadays in London, if you've got a full petrol tank,
I shouldn't laugh. We shouldn't laugh about that. We shouldn't laugh about that. In Australia, it's toilet paper. In the UK, it's petrol.
Yeah, whatever. And realistically, like, you know, you've got the things that you really need to be happy. But then it comes down to what you have to do with your time. That's where the true, I guess, the true value of money comes in. Like, so you want to do things that you enjoy. And that's why, ideally, because that's really what, for me, that's the biggest thing that money brings. Like, having a bigger house and a better car, the kind of the utility, the satisfaction from that is a lot less than you would even imagine. Like,
how long was it for you? How long was it for you when you jumped in the Aston Martin and you were like, okay, from when you drove it out of the forecourt or picked it up from Del Boy around the corner, whoever you bought it off?
2-3 months, mate, it just becomes your norm. That's the truth. 2-3 months, like, and then it's just like, doesn't really mean much. I mean, yeah, a bigger house is nice. Like, you can have, like, you've got the space and you've got those kind of things. But I think it's freedom for sure. That's the biggest gainer, and that's the biggest. The motivation for people should be that you get to do what you want with your day. Like, that was the most important thing for me, I would say, out of everything. So if I could choose, like, only one thing, like, do you want the bigger car, or the better car, the bigger house, or do you just want to live in a humble place but have freedom to do what you want with your day? 100% that one. Wouldn't even think about it. 100% that one, because I hate the idea of waking up and, like, being forced to go somewhere and do something that I've got no passion for, just to get, because it pays really well. And I remember thinking that way, thinking, I'll do that job because that pays really well. And it was never about, but you've got to sacrifice your whole life, 10 hours of your day, doing that job that pays really well. So actually, and if you hate what you do, for me, it's just not worth doing. So that was my driver. But I think everybody has their own drives. For others, it may not be that. But I think what I'd probably say to myself is, like, just enjoy every moment of where you are. And most importantly, like, you know, you don't need to have a lot more. The biggest thing is like, if you can make, let's say, £3,000 a month with 1 hour work a day, versus working 10 hours a day to make 10,000 a month, if 3,000 pays for your expenses, like, I'd take the 3. within reason, like as in, I think, yeah, I mean, I'm coming from a place that I'm somebody who's very, very driven, and I like what I do. I love what I do. I love trading, so I will trade now. And sometimes you'll find me trading at 1 a.m, even though I know my kids are going to get me up, because I love what I do. It's not work. It's just, and I've got a target and I like hitting. It's not because I desperately need the money or anything. It's just I love hitting my targets. It's like, that's what drives me, and I enjoy it. So I now come from a place of like, I do it because I love it, not because I necessarily have to, if that makes sense.
100%. And guys, let us know what your take is on it. I mean, obviously there's different people in different stages of their careers and their lives. Many people maybe are thinking that trading is going to be the vehicle to get them more money. But actually, if you think about how you want your life, I think what you're saying is create your lifestyle, have a lifestyle by design, right? And a big part of that obviously will be money, because it gives you time and freedom. But what do you want to do? What do you want to do with your life? And then when you get to a point where you've got that, how are you gonna help others? How are you gonna give back? And obviously that's a big reason why you do what you do with this.
Yeah.
2 hours a week free time, when you're charging a lot of money for the fortunate few that can get one-on-one time with you. But then we've filtered that down and we've created these programs to try and get out to even more people. But obviously, people will only get that if they've got to a certain level, and then they realize that they want to help people. And I just think it's important that we start having these conversations and try and help people reset or stimulate a conversation around that, because it's like, well, what are you going to do? What are you going to do when you get that money? How are you going to make bigger things? And money is fantastic. It gives you a lot more options, like Andy said, and it will allow you to create more things, because it's not just meant to be there stashed in a bank account, especially with everything that's going on at the moment. A, you don't know if it's still going to be there depending on which country you're in. And B, with inflation and all of these games that are going on, it's interesting times. So I think it's important to kind of touch in on that. And we've got Anita in the house. Good to have you with us. She's saying, I have the same passion for trading as Andy. My motivation is to earn enough to be finally free and have a private chef to make school lunches.
Love that.
Is a great goal. There's nothing wrong with being indulgent if you can afford it. But there is a big difference between being rich and being wealthy. And I know, I've known people in my life that are very super, super wealthy, and they're not happy. So not happy, and they're so consumed with money and finances. And it's just like, there are other things. So it's great. What would you do with that private chef to make school lunches? Would you do more trading? Would you go to the gym? Would you go for a walk down the beach? What would it be? We've also got Nicholas tuning in live on YouTube as well. So great to have you with us on that. So yeah, I just wanted to touch on that and just say, like, I believe that especially money, the way we look at it, the way we interact with it has changed. I don't know, maybe that's just my relationship and my internal and external relationship to money, and how that's changing, or whether it's on a bigger scale as well. But I do believe as a race, we're so consumed with money and we get so caught up in this shiny thing, and we're missing some of the other things that we came here to do. So I think yeah, go on, mate. What were you going to say?
No, I was going to say, and that's why really we're big advocates of having a vision board and understanding what you're doing it all for. So like, yes, do what you love, and then it's never work. That's an important message, that you should really put your energy into how you're going to get to do that. Do what you love. Like, and of course, I know sometimes we have to hustle and do something we don't necessarily want to do for a short period of time, but don't sit there. Don't allow that to stay. But then kind of have that vision and say, right, okay, this is what I envision for myself. This is like, so when I'm struggling or I'm not quite succeeding at trading, this is what I want. This is why I'm doing it. Like, I could trade 1 hour a day. And by the way, if you can make enough money doing 1 hour a day, but then you choose to do 5 or 10 hours, that's very different. Very different. It's because you're doing it out of the love of what you do. You know, I'm sure you remember, like when we were kids, you put us on a football pitch, you could play for hours. Like people need to drag you off, right? Because it's fun,
Yep.
right? So, and that's really what it's about. If you love what you do, or you don't necessarily have to love trading, but you need to use it as a vehicle. But the most important thing is have that vision. What are you going to do with that time? Imagine you were in that space. Because we always think, oh, when I get there, when I get there, when I get there. But if you get there and you don't have a plan, you'll quickly go back to what you had. You'll lose it because you don't even know what to do with yourself. So like you wake up and you feel like your belief is, oh, I need to work. Well, what if you didn't need to? What would you do with your time? And that's something that really needs careful thought. And once you kind of have that clear picture and clear vision, then I really think you'll be in a much better psychological position to really, really push on with your trading. Because we teach you how to make money from the markets. Like anyone who's done our programs knows, and even people that are joining these shows and listening to our group, you know how to do this. It's now a case of like doing it and having a big enough why, a big enough reason why you're going to succeed at this, and what you're going to do with your time. And like you said,
Amen.
who can help,
Amen to that. So look, that was our first segment of the show. Hopefully that's given you a few things to think about, and yeah, that's what we try and do, mix things up a little bit and just have good conversations. So with that being said, now we're going to jump into the news, the biggest FX news of the week.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's bring our share screen and I'll bring it up now. Right. So, yeah, no, I'm glad you brought that topic up. It's something that maybe, we don't really think about enough. And certainly people trying to make it in trading, they're always thinking about strategy and not really thinking about the why, because it's really, really key. So, yes, we do have a busy week. I just want to kind of stress something that I mentioned last week, that non-farm payrolls is going to be really, really important next week. Next week, Friday, because of the last Fed meeting. And now I'm just repeating it in case you didn't get my video, because it's really, really important. Essentially, like it looks like, the future sort of plan with interest rate hikes and tapering are going to kind of heavily be based on the employment numbers. That's the hint that we got. So we could get an exaggerated big move up in the dollar if the numbers are strong. But we'll speak about that again next week. I'll focus on what's coming out this week, but I just want you guys to kind of be aware of that and to make sure you don't forget. So here's what we've got today. So tonight we have Bank of England Governor speaking at 7 p.m. Speaking at the Society of Professional Economists. I don't know. I mean, it's always good to be aware of these things. I mean, not sure if there's what he's going to be speaking about, but certainly we want to be aware of any sterling positions. We've got Powell speaking tomorrow at 3 p.m. And then again on Wednesday, the Bank of England Governor speaking. And so, yeah, it looks like they're taking over this week, those two. And we have a bank holiday in China, GDP coming out from Canada. The manufacturing numbers shouldn't have a big impact. So quite a busy start to the week. Should be quite interesting to see if there's any further hints, especially tomorrow, due to testify about coronavirus and CARES Act before the US Senate committee. That could be a big one. That could be a big one tomorrow. Don't know what doesn't say what this speech is going to be about, but you can go to fxstreet.com and read a little bit more about these physics. But definitely this one tomorrow could have an impact on potential lockdowns and things like that. So a lot of uncertainty, like when you've got speeches like this, they're quite hard to trade. They can create kind of a lot of volatility, and I think you've got to be really careful with short-term trading. Like I prefer to consider swing trading. But yeah, I mean, other than that, GDP coming out on Friday, that's going to be a potential big announcement, big move in the Canadian dollar. So we could have a look at the Canadian dollar because we could potentially catch a move before this, before GDP comes out. We could also look at something unrelated to any of these news if we want to kind of have a little bit more of a risk-off approach. Like if we looked at something like the Aussie, you do have US volatility coming in. So normally I would go and have a look and just kind of see what's happening on a sort of from a technical point of view, and then we can kind of pick a currency to review. But I'm also happy, I know we haven't done it for a little while, Gavin, but I'm also happy to take any requests as well. We don't necessarily have to follow this path.
Well, the promise is finding an FX pair to trade in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So if someone's got a big urge for a currency pair, then whack it in the comment section. But I think it's a lot of value to understand your mindset as a professional trader, what you're looking at, how you're breaking down the news, and then just going with there and seeing how that comes out.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me have a little look and
we
see.
have got one for Euro USD, just FYI. Let's go with what you were going to do first off. And if we can't find something in 15 minutes.
Yeah, we could look at CAD yen actually. Cool.
So we've just broken down the news, and now the challenge is to find an FX currency pair to trade.
Yeah.
A low risk, high probability trade in the next 15 minutes. So let's make it interesting. Let's go through a couple of currency pairs because this isn't planned or scripted, and see what we can find in that time.
Yeah, I'm just going to have a quick little look. CAD Swiss as well, and see what we've got. Just want to get a bit of a feel. So that looks like a channel play generally, and we'll also look at euro dollar. Any others? Looks like. Tell you what, let's do. I think we'll do a CAD one. So CAD yen or CAD Swiss. Since we had a request for CAD yen, let's go with CAD yen. But I'm just going to remove everything. I like to just start with a plain chart. Let's keep this fresh. So actually, I could use MT4 here. Might be easier. I don't know why I naturally came to TradingView for some reason. 1 second, guys. Sorry. If this doesn't load up, I did have MT4, but for some reason it's closed. Otherwise, we could do we could do it on TradingView.
Cool. So just while you do that, big shout out to Besmir who's tuning in live. Neil tuning in live on YouTube as well. Great minds think alike with that currency pair, because he also requested CAD yen. So
okay, well then that kind of makes it easier then. So we're going to go with CAD yen. We like to please the people.
We
so
try our
let's look at CAD yen. Hopefully, I'm going to come up with a nice trade idea, and it'll be good to see how it compares to what they were thinking. Right. Okay. So CAD yen it is. Let's begin and have a look. So I'm going to look at the weekly chart to begin with. A quick zoom out. Just want to I always like to get a bit of a feel for what's gone on in the past. So you can see here, really, this market is pretty rangy. Okay. Not a lot of data, I've got to say here. 2006. Is that the same as what you guys can see? Ideally, we have a bit more, but let me have a look at the... Yeah, this one goes 2002. So, I mean, you could really see it's just kind of stayed in this range. I'll just draw it out here because I've got more data, but just so you see what... This is what the CAD yen is doing. It's really not changed for 20 years. I mean, in general, the majority of the time it spends here, doesn't it? Right? And like you can see, like, of course, there's times where it's gone out of that, but generally speaking, the CAD yen spends most of its time in this block. And if you have a look at what's happened, we've recently gone up to resistance, held there, and now we're pushing back up. And if you look at what's happened in the past, you can see here, it went to resistance, went down, pushed back up to resistance, and then eventually went down to this support area. And if we zoom out, let's see what else has happened. So here, this one just kind of went a little bit above it and then eventually went down to support. So right now, just kind of as a first glance, my view is that we should be kind of getting ready to push down overall. It's just a question of timing if you're looking at the long-term picture. Let me just have a look. And now I'm going to go back to MT4. Now that I've got that picture, here's our daily chart. Okay, so we'll just we'll mark that down like that. Let's get that. I could even just use our indicator. That might be a bit easier, but I'm just going to do this one by hand. Okay. Be good to get their thoughts, Gav, as well. Like if they spotted that as well, the guys that have looked at CAD yen before, that's the way it moves. So this is what we're doing right now on this chart. Let's have a little look at the way this chart likes to move. So we've got this kind of channel, don't we? And we're coming up to that channel right now. I do like this kind of like a double, like as a short-term play, there's like a double channel resistance coming up here, if you see that. So right here, this little section here looks like a short-term trading opportunity coming up. So around that sort of 88.15 could be a good short. And then what if we do clear that, then I'd be looking for this to go test back up here. But I'd expect a reaction here, especially because we've got a double channel there. So somewhere around 88.15 looks interesting. Let me zoom out and we'll just do a couple more things here. So this is our up trend line. And then we've got this next trend line here. And that was the aggressive trend line that broke. We don't need to draw it in. So if we break through here, guys, this is the kind of thing that I'd kind of plan for. There's two setups here. Well, maybe three even. So let's bring in our pen. So first thing I'm going to look for is there a short somewhere here? And then if we break through here, so maybe we get a short scalp, we take some money, we take our profit, and then the market breaks through. Where does it go? It will probably go to this trend line here and pull back like that. And then this becomes a potential short-term buy. And then I think that's the kind of thing that we might expect to see. And then probably lower. So let's go into the lower time frames and figure out roughly where we have to look to get that trade for the first one right now. So just going to bring in CAD, yen, lower time. So let's do the 4-hour time frame. Hope everybody's following. So I'm going to now, so I know around 88.15 is a possible, and that's approximate, right? That could be roughly a good short somewhere there. Let's, you can see actually it's quite, look at that, really nice reactive line there as well. Mm. So I think it's definitely a good potential short-term idea. Look, we'll take that little line there. Let's project it over here. We've gone through that, and then we'll project it from up here as well. And that will be your next target there. So you could put an alert on this line. Let's add in our DTR, guys, and see where that's coming in as well. We'll fit it to this market. Looks quite rangy, so the DTR should be quite accurate. I don't think that. Let's zoom in and see if it needs. Let's definitely get it to candles. Let's have a look. So the daily trading range indicator will predict the likely high and low of the day. What you can do is you can just fit it to the market so that you just get a better fit. So the more data that fits within here, the better the likelihood is of your trade working. Now, with a 1.3 multiple, that kind of takes you up there, which is around 88.17. And I'm gonna do another thing here. I'm gonna see what the Fibonacci is telling me. Let's bring in our script. Beautiful. I heard a little murmuring from Gavin. He knows what he sees. We have the Fibonacci predicting that the high of this swing is going to be exactly the same area that we're looking to short, around 88.23.5. That really is a great confluence. And the market has pulled back to its 38, which is the minimum expected pullback, sort of 90% of the time. For me, this makes this trade a really high probability setup that we're going to get a really nice opportunity to short this around here. I just want to stress, I would do this as a short-term trade idea. So a couple of things. If you're going to short this, you might be thinking, well, where would I put my stop? Well, one thing that you could do is if you have a look here, right, if this is going to be a day trade, or let's say you fade it and you pretty much want to get your profits on the same day or the next day at the latest. If you notice over here, our indicator got It went above that sort of high, right? Our predicted high on this occasion. This one, it was fine. And even on this occasion. So what I like to do is I like to basically fit this to the market so that if I did short it here, I want this to be above the previous violated price action. So if I just kind of do this, and you'll see what I mean. So now I could even do it 1.7. I'll show you 1 second. Let's do 1.7. You'll see what I mean. Right now, if you use the 1.7, you can see that, let's say you short this today here. Well, you can say with confidence, since the 19th of August, we've never gone above this red line. Can you see that? I mean, give or take there, touched it, right? So if you went short here, you could go with a stop right there, risking that much. And if you really wanted to, you could just make this really simple and just do a 1-to-1. I'd probably try and get a little bit more, like, let's see, or the minimum kind of target is there really. Like that's the old resistance becoming support. You could do this as a 1-to-1, quick profit, quick 1% and out. For others, you could use this, keep your stop there, and then see if you can catch maybe a move back down to, let's say here, or you could use the Fibonacci and do something like here to here. Where's the 618? So the 618 comes in about there. So 87.44-ish would be like your kind of middle ground target. But for those that like it really simple, hit, bang, out, that's what you do. That should be a really, the thing with a 1-to-1 there, there's no kind, you're kind of getting in and getting out without any kind of resistance, if that makes sense. So that if you go for a target below here, for example, well, the market's got to take it, so it might go there, and then the buyers come in and say, oh, look, this isn't an uptrend. There's an old resistance there that becomes support, and the buyers come in, and maybe the sellers overpower it, and eventually it goes down to your target. So there's a little bit of a battle going on. Whereas for somebody that just wants a quick gain, that could be like a bang, bang, out, done. But either way, guys, however you manage your trade, short term, if we get there today, I like a short between 88.70 and 88.23. And then the long term is, and look, you've got this kind of, just to remind you, double confluence here. Long term, it could hold here and start to push lower, of course. And that's the other thing as well. Some people might look at this and think, well, shouldn't I go for the bottom of the channel? You certainly can. I mean, that would turn into like a 10, 12-to-1 trade. But what might happen is the market might do this, come down, and then it breaks up, and then you end up with a loss. But there are some traders that don't mind that, because they might say, well, look, I'm going to risk 1% with a really nice tight stop, but I'm going to hold this and see if I can get it down to that channel. And if it does work, I've made 10% and I've done my month.
And that is how we roll, guys. 15 minutes to find a low risk, high probability FX trade. Drop the mic, Mr. Demi. You have done it again for another week. Actually, don't drop the mic, because we want you to do that rap that you posted in the Facebook group. Oh, we're going to get you on that one. We are going to get you on that one, mate. So look, that was the promise. We have delivered again. Yeah, that's it. We're pretty much done.
How did if anybody has analyzed the CAD yen, were you looking at the same sort of things? would be good to know. And for those that are just looking at that for the first time, what do you think of the setup? I think it's a strong setup, personally.
He's a little bit biased, but we'll give him
I'm a little bit biased, yeah, but I do also say when there's not really much of a setup. So on this occasion, I do think that's a pretty good setup. But
low risk, high probability. So unless we've got any other professional traders, I can say with confidence, no one else is really going to have the same ideas as you on that. But hopefully that's given you some inspiration. To see once you get into a routine and that you're here with someone that can do that for a start. He's giving us his time. And B, it should give you some inspiration. If you are looking at that, maybe you can get into a trade. This was my first full watch of you doing this, and it's a little mind-blowing. That's usually the reaction. And thank you for sharing that. And obviously it shows that you're in the right place, because now you can start to learn via osmosis at whatever speed that you feel is right for you. Yanis is saying as well, it's really good. I wish I could do it, unless that's some sort of Greek thing. I'm not really sure. Anything I can't pronounce now, I'm paranoid that you're going to say, oh no, it's Greek, you should get it wrong. Gary's in the house saying, thank you, gents. Stay safe, all. Wise words, my friend. So with that being said, I think we're done for today's show. Is there any other last little tidbits that you want to drop before we go away and get ready for tomorrow's crypto show? So if you're new to the group, welcome. We do another show all about cryptos this time tomorrow. So it starts at 12 midday BST, which if you're over this side of the world in Australia, that's 9 p.m. AEST. So with that all being said, mate, was there anything else that you wanted to say before we vamoosed?
No, I guess like just one additional thing, like, because I gave people a couple of options there, and they're both absolutely fine. It just really depends on your personality and what you want to achieve. But you can also do a hybrid of that, and you know, you can combine your short term with your long term. It's something that a lot of traders do, like where you could take maybe profits on 3/4 of your position, leave a quarter on with your stop at the original place in case it does run. And that also, I guess, you front run the news. You know, we've got GDP on Friday. You might think, do you know what, if I can stay in the quarter of my position, if I can make 10% on that quarter, it will still really add up to my account. So, you know, you just hope that GDP goes your way. And if it doesn't, you're like, well, I've still made a profit because I've taken 3/4 of my target anyway. So, yeah, I just thought I'd mention that because that's another way of doing it. But yeah, other than that, I think that's it. We'll see everybody tomorrow on the show. And yeah, take care, everyone.
Have a great day, guys. Bye.